The summer transfer window of 2022 has finally come to a close. Deals have been struck, rumours have been quashed, and a whopping £1.9 billion has been spent by the 20 clubs. A lot of money has bought in a lot of talent to England's top division in all positions of the pitch. So much so that you can make an amazing 11 just from the new signings. And that's exactly what we've done on Football Reality today. We're creating the best 11 from the new Premier League signings. So let's get started. In goal, Nick Pope. So many fresh faces in the Premier League this season, but we're kicking off our team with a more familiar one. Nick Pope moved to the nouveau riche Newcastle United for 4 years after relegation with Burnley in May. Wanting to keep challenging for the number one shirt within the England setup, with the World Cup looming, remaining in the Premier League was a must for the 30-year-old, and thanks to a deal reportedly worth £10 million, Eddie Howe's men gave him that opportunity. If the price was that low, he's been a steal so far. 11th in the table with 1 win and 4 draws from 6 doesn't look great, but without Pope's 3 clean sheets and a league-best 28 saves, the Magpies would have an awful start. That contribution sees us hand the gloves to Pope rather than cap-waving. Extraordinaire Dean Henderson at Nottingham Forest and the young Irish star Gavin Bazunu at Southampton. Centre backs Lisandro Martinez and Wesley Fofana. Had we made this 11 after the opening couple of fixtures, there's no way Lisandro Martinez would have come close to our lineup. However, as Man United have started motoring under Erik ten Hag, so has the Argentinian, putting in a man-of-the-match display to keep a clean sheet against Southampton before a second clean sheet against Leicester, and keeping the Liverpool and Arsenal attacks quiet in hugely significant wins. 175 centimeters, Martinez has quickly silenced the so-called experts who wrote him off as being too small to play centre-back in the Premier League. At around £50 million, Martinez is starting to show why Ten Hag was so intent on bringing him from Ajax. Signing a day before the deadline, Wesley Fofana joined Chelsea for a pricey £72 million. It was a huge blow for the Foxes, who have lost a key man when sat bottom of the table. Meanwhile, losing to Leeds and Southampton already had been damaging for Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel's men had already dropped important points against Spurs in August. But in came Fofana to the back three alongside Kalidou Koulibaly and Thiago Silva for his debut against West Ham, and the Blues' defense looked much improved, taking a 2-1 win. One match is hardly enough to judge a new signing, much as 2 wasn't enough to judge Martinez. But Fofana's familiarity with the league gives him the edge over teammate Koulibaly. In this 11, Tottenham's Christian Romero is technically a new signing, having made the switch from Atalanta permanent, but it doesn't seem right to include someone who made 22 Premier League appearances last season. Right back, Nico Williams. It's been a busy summer for Nottingham Forest, who could have had their own new signing 11 and subs bench. The jury is still out on quite a few of their new recruits, but most of the football community has been impressed by Welshman Nico Williams. Arriving to the tune of £18 million from Liverpool, a price some thought too steep, Williams has established himself in Steve Cooper's starting lineup, playing every minute of league action thus far, often marauding down the wing as any good modern fullback should. Third highest in the league with 27 tackles, the 21-year-old doesn't shirk the defensive side of things either. Kevin Mbabu has made a solid start at Fulham, but it's clear Williams is the talk of the new Premier League right backs. Left back, Alexander Zinchenko. Swapping a blue shirt for a red one this summer was Alexander Zinchenko, who so far has not swapped his usual Premier League table position, as Arsenal sit in first place. Leaving Manchester City with 4 league titles in his locker, the Ukrainian headed to London after the Gunners coughed up £31.5 million. He made an instant impact, assisting the first goal of the new season for Gabriel Martinelli as Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 2-0. A win over Leicester followed before a second clean sheet, this time at Bournemouth. Knee problems kept him out of the next 2 fixtures, which Arsenal won, but without keeping clean sheets. Zinchenko's defensive solidity and contribution going forward are evidently a big part of why Arsenal began the campaign so well. Marc Cucurella's talents at Chelsea are shining through, but they're not enough to replace Zinchenko. Defensive midfielder Casemiro. Casemiro is so talented, he just had to take a selfie at Old Trafford to completely turn Manchester United's fortune around. Or at least that's how it looked. He's had a bit part role on the pitch so far, just 3 sub-appearances. But the Brazilian's credentials are so good, departing Real Madrid with another Champions League winner's medal, 5 in all, ahead of a £63.5 million switch to England. At 30, he should still have a few top-class years ahead of him, so he slides into our DM's position ahead of Calvin Phillips, who is yet to make an impact at Man City after an injury-hit season at Leeds. Central midfielders, Yves Bissouma and Christian Eriksen. Typically more of an out-and-out central midfielder, Yves Bissouma has done a more defensive job for Tottenham more than once since arriving from Brighton this summer. Joining for £26 million from the South Coast, the Malian hasn't exactly been an ever-present either, but has shown his class in an Antonio Conte team which seems to be going places this campaign. They're one of only 2 sides with unbeaten records intact. But Bissouma's rise through the Premier League ranks at Brighton is what merits a place in our team. A malleable player who can break up play and offer plenty going forward, there is no wonder he was so highly sought after. Everyone knows Christian Eriksen's miraculous story, but if you don't, you can check out our video on him. Having shocked the world by returning to the pitch at elite level, he was the catalyst Brentford needed to stay up last season, which proved to bigger clubs that he could still cut it in the Premier League. Like Lisandro Martinez, United clicking into gear was always going to happen once Eriksen found his form, playing a more attacking role in the Red Devils' 4 straight wins, in which the Dane bagged his first assist. On our bench, the veteran Ivan Perisic has had such a distinguished career, while youngster Fabio Vieira is catching the eye. On the left wing, Raheem Sterling, only the second Englishman in our 11 and the second player to have left City over the summer. Raheem Sterling joined Chelsea for a shade over £50 million. It took him a few games to find his feet, but is now firing with 3 goals in his last 3 starts. And though he doesn't always take the chances he's presented with, there's no denying his contributions to the success of Man City and the progress of England in recent years. After all, you don't get in the Premier League 100 club without being a quality goalscorer. Sterling got into our team by beating off the challenges of Philippe Coutinho, now permanently at Villa, Maxwell Cornet at West Ham, and Leeds' Luis Sinisterra. Right wing, Gabriel Jesus. Okay, so Gabriel Jesus has been incredibly effective through the middle for Arsenal this season, but he'll be out wide for this team. Making it a hat-trick of arrivals from the Citizens, Jesus is loving being the focal point in the flowing Gunners attack, with 6 goal involvements in as many games since his £47 million move from the Champions. A lightning start to his time in North London. It couldn't have come at a better time as he gears up for the World Cup with Brazil. Another player with a bucket full of medals, he takes a spot ahead of another Brazilian, the highly rated Antony, joining Man United from Ajax. Center forward, Gianluca Scamacca. Only joking, sorry Hammers fans. Center forward is Erling Haaland. Of course, young Erling is front and center in our team. What a start it has been to his time in England, with 10 goals in his opening 6 games, including 2 hat-tricks. He is on course to beating all kinds of goal-scoring records. Probably the highest-rated young star in the world right now, Haaland was a bargain for £54 million from Borussia Dortmund and has slotted seamlessly into Guardiola's team. His pace, strength, and technique are all absolutely faultless. We are already running out of superlatives to describe this outstanding 22-year-old. No one can compete with Haaland right now, but in Darwin Núñez and Alexander Isak, the center forward position has been dramatically bolstered across the Premier League. Now we have our 11 choices. Let's have a look at the full lineup. Nick Pope in goal, a back 4 of Nico Williams, Lisandro Martinez, Wesley Fofana, and Alexander Zinchenko, Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, and Yves Bissouma in midfield, and a front 3 of Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, and Erling Haaland. So what do you think of our 11? Would you make a few alterations, or have we got this totally wrong and need wholesale changes? Send us your 11 in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.